What's going on, everyone? Harry the Big Dog is here, and we are waiting. So I'm gonna put a countdown timer down on there. Let's do that. All right. What's going on, everyone? Harry the Big Dog is here. That coming from? And we are waiting. So I'm gonna put a. Sorry about that, guys. I had another tab open with the DJ interview on. A rookie move. Harry the Big Dog here, and as always, it is Tuesday, 8-ish Eastern Time in the PM, and this is another DJ interview. So before I start, I just wanted to congratulate Ice-T on his win, his Grammy win. You know, big up to Ice-T, Mick Benzo, Mr. David Bowles, DJ Kev Rockwell, and the whole Art of Rap crew on that Grammy win. So big up to you guys. I'm so happy for you. All right, so let's get this thing going.
Welcome to this episode of the DJ Interview with your host, Harry the Big Dog.
Yes, that is me. So tonight's guest, you know, we gonna jump right into this because it's still sunny out there. He's coming from the West Coast, and I don't know what's the weather out there. We're gonna find out all this information. He is, you know, one of the premier DJs out there in the Spokane, Washington area. So, are you ready for GrandMixer GMS? What's going on, bro?
Okay, I'm unmuted. I was talking. All right.
Oh.
What's up? How you doing?
All right. Your sound went lower.
Okay, how's that? Is that any better?
Yes, better.
Okay. All right. Thank you for getting my name right. GrandMixer GMS, not Grandmaster.
GrandMixer GMS. I was reading it.
Oh yeah. And so you mentioned the weather. It's nice and sunny
now.
what's
the weather out there before we get started? While we just chit-chatting.
So right now, the weather is good. It's getting warmer. It was snowing a couple weeks ago, but because it's the West Coast, and I'm in the Northwest actually. So thankfully, it's getting better now. So I don't have to worry about driving in the snow right now.
Wow, it's been in the 60, between the 30s and the 60s here, and the 70s here in Virginia. So I feel for you guys out there.
All right.
So let's get this thing started.
Okay.
Let everybody know your government name if you want, your DJ name, and when you got started in this DJ business.
Okay, so government name, I will pass on that. But let's see. So my DJ name is GrandMixer GMS. When I got started, so I actually, technically, the first time I ever DJ'd, I was 11 years old. I was actually at a fish fry, and I wasn't a DJ yet, but I always loved music. I grew up around music. My mom always played music all the time in the house, and so 11 years old. I'm at this fish fry. I know the DJ. He's really cool. His name is was Charles Knight. Actually, he's still around. Charles Knight. And I was listening to the people talk, and in the crowd, and they wanted him to play. I remember the song. It was Candyman from the Mary Jane Girls, and he wasn't playing it. He had all the records and everything. And so I'm just watching what he's doing, and I knew about mixing, but I'm watching him, so I'm fascinated. And then he had to the bathroom, and he says, "Hey, would you play this next record? Because I got to run to the bathroom." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no problem, no problem." And so he showed me what to do, and so I'm listening to the song and everything, and I noticed the song's about to end, and he's not back, and I'm like, "Oh shoot!" I'm like, "Okay, well, I better play the next record." And so I remember the person wanted the girl. She wanted the Mary Jane Girls, Candyman. He had it there, so I put that on, played it, and then the song, and I'm like, okay, he's still not coming back. So I started looking at stuff to play, and so I played the next record. I don't remember what that was, but then I played the next record for about an hour, and I don't know what he was doing. I guess maybe he forgot because the music kept playing that he was
he was he was
he
an
was DJing or
audience.
whatever. Yeah, yeah. So I guess I was doing a good job because the DJ didn't come back. But but so so that's technically the first time I ever DJ'd. But I was originally a breakdancer, and me and my cousin, his name is Tony, we used to so we would go to Seattle and Tacoma, and there that the radio over there was just phenomenal, way better than Spokane. Radio in Spokane sucked back then, and
Wait,
it really did.
what years are we talking?
So this is the early '80s. So
Early 80s. We didn't
yeah,
even
so
know about no
I know,
Spokane,
right?
Washington.
Yeah, yeah, early '80s though, and there was actually, there was a good hip hop scene, even though it was, a small scene, but it was good, and and but Seattle, because that's on the other side of the state though, but that had a good hip hop scene as well, really good.
Hmm.
Um, and I remember the first time we went over there, I heard for the first time hip hop music on the radio, and I was like, wow, absolutely amazing. And I fell in love with that because it was totally different than what was going on conservative radio in Spokane. And so, anyways, over there, they had a station called KTOY. KTOY actually would Friday night at midnight, they would start throwing down mixing, right? And they were really good. That was like when the really good mixes were going Friday nights on KTOY, 91.7 FM KTOY. And
Right.
then throughout Saturday, it was hit or miss. You had to keep your recorder ready because you never knew when they were going to start mixing. But then on Sunday, it was really cool because you turn the dial to 1250 KFOX, and you had DJ Nasty Nest, and then also Sir Mix-a-Lot would be on there, which people know Sir Mix-a-Lot, and not a lot of people know Nasty Nest. We'll get into him in a minute, but he's the West Coast equivalent, says the Source magazine, to DJ Red Alert because he's got he had the first hip hop show on the radio on the West Coast. So,
Right.
anyways, so we would record these mixes, me and my cousin Tony, and we'd go back to Spokane, and I noticed that when we would break dance and perform and battle people, we would always do better when we had mixes, new mixes, right? The problem was we couldn't drive
Wait.
to.
You were a
Okay,
break dancer too?
yes, yeah, that's how I actually started. I was a break dancer, yep, and I have to credit my stepbrother Stevie for that. And he actually he exposed me to a lot of to actually the hip hop music. I mean, I had heard before I met him, I had heard like Sequence, Funk You Up. I heard some early stuff, but he moved over from actually Yakima, and he had everything. He had all the Grandmaster Flash, Sugar Hill Gang, Treacherous 3. He had all that stuff, and I was like, wow, what is this? This is cool. It's totally different than all the music that I had heard in Spokane, right? And
Wow.
he was. I'm gonna say he was. As far as what I had seen, I've seen a lot of pop. He's probably the best popper as far as breakdancing and the standing up. The best
Uh-huh.
that I had ever seen. He could do some amazing things. I mean, he would look like he's in a strobe light. He would look like he's like going through time. Because of the vibration and ticking and stuff. Absolutely amazing.
Right.
He
Now,
didn't. The weird. Go ahead. Were you gonna say
now
something?
I know people gonna
Okay.
start asking about the mask. So let everybody
Oh,
know
right. Okay.
what's the
So
deal with the mask.
right. So this is in honor and solidarity of the people who have passed from COVID. I actually have some people that I know who've died from COVID. It's to show support for them. So that's why I shave my head in the fight against cancer. because I have some family members who have died from that as well, and some friends. So I'm also doing this to represent the people who have died and have been sick, and the people who've suffered financially because of COVID. So
Right.
even though, as far as we know, you can't catch COVID from me on the internet, as far as we know, I'm sure we can, but yeah. So that's why I'm wearing that. And so, anyways,
Let me
so I know.
before you finish,
Okay.
let me do a few
Yeah.
shout outs first, a few
All right.
check-ins. We got BTP Media Group supporting you, bro.
Damn, John, that's my homie right there. Yeah. Yeah. By the Pound Media. Excellent. Excellent. In fact, you guys should definitely hook up and
Yeah,
share connections, because
I think
that.
we are. I think we are. He
Okay.
said salute.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got the international DJ Tommy Lee in the place.
Tommy Lee, what's up, Tommy Lee? Oh, I see. He's asking what city am I near, and I'm
Yeah,
over in Spokane. Yeah, I'm over in Spokane, Washington. So it's on the other side of Seattle.
nice.
Uh,
And we
and
got
Jeff Kwan at BTP Media, that guy's a hip hop historian, man. He's got so much love for hip hop, and he's done a lot. Even though he's not a DJ, he's not a graffiti artist, he's not a rapper. He's
mhm,
done so much for hip hop that people that just promotion and everything, and trying to keep hip hop alive and
right.
hip hop how it was. Yeah, that's the guy right there.
I'm definitely gonna reach out to him, so I'll connect
Yeah,
with him. We got Chris Gloss checking in with us.
Chris Glass, what's up, Chris?
We got the heavy hitter DJ Cam checking in.
DJ Cam, yo, what's up?
So so let's go ahead and finish with your story.
Okay, so yeah, but I would notice that we would always perform better, me and my cousin, when we had new mixes. But the problem was we couldn't always afford to go to Seattle. We only went there about like once a month or so. And luckily Spokane had a really good record store called Strawberry Jams. Now I don't know what it
Right,
was or who it was. Somebody worked there, and they had a serious connection because they had everything that we heard on the radio, even test pressings. Now I didn't know what test pressings were back then. Okay, but I should have grabbed those, because I was like, oh, this looks weird. It doesn't even look professional. And I should have grabbed those. But they had everything. So I would spend my allowance money on records, and then I had collected like tables and little stuff from yard sales and all that, and Radio Shack. Anyone who's a DJ from back then, chances are you bought stuff from Radio Shack. And
realistic.
realistic, yes.
That was the
And so,
brand.
yeah, it was good too. The echo chamber and everything as well. And so I would listen to the DJs, right? And I'm like, okay. And I understood what was going on. I didn't know exactly how they were doing it, but I could hear, okay, they're mixing these different songs together, and they would scratch and stuff. So after through trial and error, I taught myself how to mix. And some of it also was the pause button, just like the Latin Rascals up in New York. And surprisingly, you can do a lot of good stuff with the pause, a lot of good, cool mixes with the pause button. You can also do some terrible mixes as well. Oh, E-Dog is on there. Yeah, hey, I'm wearing E-Dog's hat. Yeah, E-Dog. Um, anyways,
Oh, yo,
yeah. So
he's
E-Dog,
the
I don't
one
know if
that.
you know,
No, I
Drop Top.
don't. He's
Okay.
the one that did the hat.
No. Actually, Avolio Creative, Dion, this girl right here. This girl did the hat. She's filthy, but I'm supposed to send E-Dog a hat. Because
Oh,
he's got a hat. Yeah, I got it. And E-Dog, for those of you who don't know, he's the one who did that song Drop Top. And I don't know if you guys caught it out there on the East Coast. He was part of Sir Mix-a-Lot's crew. In fact, you can see him in the Baby Got Back video. He's in there. That's my homie E-Dog from way back in the day. But he had the song Drop Top, and he still got some new stuff. He's got a new song called Clap, which I'm mixing well. And I still mix Drop Top. But yeah, E-Dog, very good, very talented. And really good story behind him as well. That's definitely somebody you should
what's up,
have
E
in the network.
Dog?
Yeah.
We'll
Hey,
connect.
so so I taught myself how to mix, right? And
Yeah.
then and so they would help with our breakdancing battles. Well, by the time 1986 came around, I was like the last person in Spokane who was at least admitted that they were a breakdancer and was into hip hop. You know, other people were into it, but they wouldn't admit to it. You know, because I was totally into it. And so, but I had to come to grips. And look, I'm like the last guy wearing the parachute pants and all of that. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, so what am I going to do now? Because nobody else is breakdancing, at least not publicly. And I'm sitting in my room and I'm looking at all these records that I had collected and all this equipment that I had collected as well. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, I could be a DJ. I know how to mix, and I've actually DJ'd one time before, and yeah, and that'll keep me in hip hop. I'm like, oh, that's cool, you know. And so that's how I decided to become a DJ. And that was 1986. Now, surprisingly, there was a not too long after. Oh, so I started selling mixtapes and whatnot, but not too long after that, this girl called me up. Her name was Tammy, and she said, "Hey, you need to tune into this radio station." I had heard the station before, and it was basically like the other stations, but it was a little bit better. And I said, "Well, why?" And she said, "Because on Sundays they switched the format, and they're playing rap and other stuff that they normally don't play." And I'm like, "What? Are you
Mm,
serious? No way!" I didn't believe it. So I tuned in, and sure enough, they were. It was a show called The Power Switch, and so what they did was there was a guy named T.J. Collins, and he was a DJ, and they let him switch the format of the station to play rap music and basically whatever he wanted, as long as it wasn't like cussing and all that, but
yeah.
rap music, R&B music, stuff that they normally weren't playing. And I was just like, oh my goodness, this is cool. And so I started calling him up, requesting stuff, and he really didn't have a lot of music. And I was like, man. And I was sitting there thinking, you know, I'd ask him about mixes, but he didn't know how to mix or anything. Um, and so I was like, well, why don't I just ask him, hey, would you want to play some mixes? And so I did. And sure, he was like, yeah, absolutely. He's like, you can mix. I said, yep. And he says, okay. And he's like, hey, you got some music too? I said, yeah. And he says, all right, well, what do you got? And so I started telling him the list. And he's like, oh, man, hey, bring all that stuff down. So I'm like, okay. So I went down to the radio station. It was over on the east side of Spokane, and let him check out all my records. And you know, it was honor system, so I gave them to him, and then he recorded them and gave it back to me about a week later. And I gave him the mix, and he loved it. He's like, "Oh man, you did this?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Okay." So I started mixing for the radio station. That was in 1986. The station was Power 104, and so that was the first station that played actual rap and hip hop, the first station to ever have mixing on the radio in Spokane. And
Right.
so also, yeah, I gave him was the Square Dance Rap by Sir Mix-a-Lot. Now, uh, everyone loved it. That just blew up. People were like, "Oh my god!" They were freaking out. They started playing that in regular rotation on the station. And the other station, KZZU, super conservative, didn't want to take chances for years. Finally, they did, but that was later. But they were calling and asking, "Hey, who's that does that Square Dance Rap song?" So that was really funny. But so the reason that blew up in Spokane was because of T.J. Collins and him playing that on the Power Switch, and of course it was my record. So yeah, so that's how I had started. And oh, so I'm wearing the nastiness emoji mask, by the way. That's a little nastiness logo that he's got. If you look on the Square Dance Rap album, there's a little version, the original 12-inch. You
Uh-huh.
see the little symbol of that on there. Yep.
See, them songs didn't come out this way, or at
Really?
least
Okay.
I don't know about it.
Right. Right.
So I don't know if anybody put in the chat if you've heard of them Sir Mix-a-Lot songs or not, but I didn't. the
Okay.
only the only Sir Mix-a-Lot. What was the only Sir Mix-a-Lot song?
Well, let's see. What about Posse on Broadway?
Yes, my
Okay.
posse's on
And
Broadway.
exactly. And then Baby Got Back. I know you've
Baby
heard
Got
that.
Back.
Yeah, which
Everybody.
I'm
That
actually
went
yeah,
national. That went
yeah.
worldwide, probably.
Yes, yes. And then you've probably heard the Pussycat Dolls, don't you? Right? You've heard that from the
Mm,
Pussycat Dolls? Don't you wish
no,
you're a girl? Really? Don't
Oh
you wish
yes,
your
yes,
girlfriend was
yes. I actually
okay?
did.
So that's actually taking that. Don't you wish your girlfriend was hot like me? That's
Uh
from
huh.
Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yeah, that's from Sir Mix-a-Lot's song "Swass" from the same record with Posse on Broadway, and the song was called "Swass," and it goes, don't you wish your boyfriend was swass like me? And in fact, I just did a little mini mashup. I want to do it again, but I did a mini mashup of those two songs that we just played on our show, K Fox Nightbeat, this last Sunday. For obvious reasons. So I put the Sir Mix-a-Lot beat behind it, and
Right.
then the acapella, and then mixed in part of Sir Mix-a-Lot. Yep. Yes, Tommy Lee says Sir Mix-a-Lot is from out here. Yes, he's from Seattle.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And Sir
Yep.
Mix-a-Lot used to be a DJ, and he wanted to get into making records so that way he could scratch his name.
Really?
Yep. Yep.
See, we
Yeah.
learned some knowledge now. That is crazy. So
Yeah.
now take us a little fast forward
Sure.
to you were already playing vinyl. Take us a little fast forward to when you are deciding to switch over to digital.
Okay. So let's see. Am I muted?
No,
Let's see. Oh, okay. Okay.
I hear you.
So to be honest, I still use vinyl. Um, but yeah,
Oh,
I
good
do both.
guy.
Yeah. I mean, there's benefits to the controller and all that, but there's also benefits to vinyl. Um, and I don't know if it's just because I'm old school, but I like the feel of vinyl, and that's what I started with. That's what I grew up with, and so I do a blend. So when I perform, I'll do a blend of the vinyl and the Serato. Because what I
Yeah,
use, I don't. And here's another thing: is that you don't need all of this super expensive equipment to do things. If it's not so much the tools, it's the person using them. Now, certain tools make it easier, sure. So
right.
just to prove that you don't really need all this cool stuff. I mean, it's cool to have it and everything, but for people out there who are on a budget or whatever, I use the Newmark Scratch because that's like, to me, it's the medium between the old school and the new school.
Yeah, I
Because
like
it
that
has
mixer.
yes, absolutely, absolutely, Newmark Scratch, definitely. Yep.
I seen the promos for it with the girl cutting on it, and
Mm-hmm.
she did a few promos on it, and I was like, "Yo, this is dope. It's simple. It don't have, crazy buttons on it. And like
Yeah.
you said, you don't need a lot of that stuff
No.
to
I mean,
still do a party."
exactly. It's cool. I mean, it's cool and everything, and I'm not knocking technology because if you want to break it down, back in the early part of the century, if you wanted to hear music, you had to get a band. You had to get someone to play, drums, strings, guitar, all that stuff.
You went way
You had,
back.
yeah, you had to go and you had to rent a hall and all this stuff. Then eventually, you had the recordings. So you don't want to. I mean, I'm all for technology, but at the same time, it can make you lazy. So, like, if you get a DJ now who is only using controllers and Serato, put them on regular decks. A lot of them are not going to know what to do. They're going to be like, "Oh wait, where's the button? How come this won't?" It's like, no, it's called pitch control. You match your beats per minute, which personally I still do. I time my records and all the songs by hand, the old school way, because I
Uh-huh.
found that sometimes Serato does not. It'll like tweak out and like give you the wrong beats per minute. And for the most part, it's fairly accurate. Um, but it will, So just to avoid all that, I do it by hand, the old school way. And if anybody wants to know that, there's how to do that. It's really easy, but there's a Cameron Paul video where he talks about that. It's an instructional video. Cameron Paul is the reason people know the song "Push It" was because of him. He was an incredible DJ from the Bay Area who was DJing on KSOL, then KMEL, and City Nights, and other places out there. Absolutely
Right.
phenomenal. He started the Mix It service, He passed away in 2018 from cancer, so may he rest
Mm.
in peace. But Cameron Paul, legendary DJ, man. He was like magic when you heard him mixing on the radio. And but yeah, so that you watch his video, it's really cool. It's to see the legend while he was here, and he
Yeah.
just explains how to do that because the party, and all of a sudden your computer goes out. What are you going to do? You're not going to, before Serato and all that stuff, you didn't have to worry about that because that was not what you had to deal with because you had two records in a mixer. You needed power, just like watch the old Beat Street and all that stuff.
Uh
They
huh.
remember they hooked up to the power on the
To the
telephone
light
pole. Yeah,
poles.
yeah, yeah. So, oh yeah.
And
So, but your
we
buddy,
had
right?
with some of the other interviews, we had debates about all of this stuff, and
Mm-hmm.
you know, some people didn't feel comfortable with carrying with leaving their records home, the records and needles home for a little
Right.
while until they got to the Serato, and some people have like 3 or 4 computers with they laptops that they take with them in case one
Yeah.
crashes.
Yeah.
It's big debates on that on here,
Yeah. Well, there
but
is.
definitely,
So, yeah, any of the DJs remember from back in the day all the crates of records that you lug around. So there is that. Yeah. I mean, because you can, especially if you're doing a really good show, and you never know what people are going to ask for. If you're doing,
yeah,
if you're not just, doing like a turntable show or something. But so there are benefits to that. You don't have to carry your collection of 5,000 records to each event. You don't want to do that either. Especially if you're like spinning in the sunshine.
yeah.
You don't want your records to warp.
These are the debates we have. What happens when the power goes out?
Well, so I guess when the power goes out, I
Party's
guess
over.
you could hook up a generator if you happen to have one. I don't know.
Oh,
But chances, yeah,
funny.
yeah, 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 yeah.
So now let me ask you this: few questions that I ask all the DJs. Do
Yeah.
you know the first record you brought?
To that I bought or
Yeah,
brought. The first record that
that you brought to play as a DJ.
oh, well, technically it would have to be the Mary Jane Girls, Candyman. Even though I didn't bring it, that's the first one I played. I remember that. But when I started DJing live, as an actual DJ, I remember my set? It had I had Planet Rock, Connie, funky little beat. When I hear music, the Debbie Deb. I had Pretty Tony. That was for a live event. Um, huh? Yeah, but no, but yeah, but I had DJ'd before the All City dances. At the house parties. Yeah. Um, yeah. uh, yeah.
We got our
So
audience in the back. Hello.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. So, but I mean, technically, the first one I ever played was Candyman from the Major. Now, so let me ask you: do people remember what the first record that they brought?
Most of them don't.
Okay. Okay.
It's only a few that remember the actual record they brought. The first one. I don't even remember the first record I brought. This was back in probably 79, 80,
Okay.
and I didn't remember what I did 30 minutes ago.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. uh,
So, all right, tell us something we don't know or nobody knows. What was your worst party and what happened?
well, actually, honestly, the parties were pretty good. There was a show I did though that went horribly. It was terrible. So it was me and this guy named Precise. P Precise Paul, actually super incredible, very talented rapper. I met him through Tobin Costin at Gonzaga University when we were doing the show on the radio there, and we do this performance. It's a benefit to help reopen this Hamilton Recreation Center, right? And um, okay, so I'll admit it. So Paul made the mistake of it's probably nervous. He was probably nervous, but to drink a little bit of a 40, and then And the event was like it was a live, well, it was kind of like a Lollapalooza type thing because there were rock bands and there was hip hop and then some other, and and for some reason he wanted to like start performing like right away, right? And so I was like,
Yeah.
okay, all right, let's do it. Even though there wasn't a whole lot of people there, they were still showing up, uh, because I guess people were asking, hey, when does the show get started or whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. So we started, and it no, no it, let me see. It was just horrible. It was, I don't know what it was. I think they didn't understand his lyrics, and they would miss him he was saying. And
Yeah.
so like and he had some I mean, he's really good. He had some of the lyrics that he had, the girls in the audience thought he was talking about them. And because he had used the B word and all this stuff, and so I don't know why they thought that, and I think because he might have been looking at him while he's rapping or something, and they got mad, they walked off, and I could tell, all right, this is not going good at all. This is like horrible, but we just got to keep playing and everything, and yeah, that was my worst show. Now, luckily, you know what? I don't. I wonder if that was the first time I performed with Precise. It might have been. I had recorded with him. I don't know if we actually. That might have been our first performance together.
Right.
Um, but the next show we did, that didn't happen. And he definitely knew not to drink a 40. And and we killed the next one. The next one was, oh, it was perfect. I mean, yeah, it was a really good performance in the next one. And surprisingly, that performance was in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, and the place was packed, and everything worked out. My turntable solo was good because sometimes when you DJ, your needles will skip. They know, so that's the downside of using vinyl, and that was kind of the thing. You had to know that's what you didn't want to do, but you had to know how to adjust the weight and everything, and also the floor that you happen to be on.
Right.
And it could happen. It could happen to anybody because I don't know if you remember DJ Joe Cooley. He had the battle with Cash Money, and a lot of people say that Joe Cooley should have won, but the judges gave it to Cash Money instead at the was that the New Music Seminar or the DMC? I forget how battle it was, but
Mm-hmm.
he had performed at a lowrider show in 1995, and the stage that we were on, I had noticed that the needle or the way the bouncy, so I didn't do a lot of my tricks and stuff. But Joe Cooley, being the incredible trickster that he is, super DJ, got up to do his turntable solo, and the needles start skipping, and he's fine. You can recover sometimes, one or two,
Uh-huh.
okay, that's fine. But when they just start skipping, and he was just like, oh, that skips, f that, he just quit the turntable solo. They performed the show,
Yeah.
so that's a benefit of the technology now, like phase. I see people using that. You don't have to worry about that's not going to skip, So
Yeah. What do you
yeah.
think? What's your thoughts on that?
Well, I haven't used it though. It looks cool. It looks interesting. I've read some reviews on it. I'll try it. That's funny. I think I just saw a video of Joe Cooley on Instagram scratching, and I think he was using phase.
Mm,
But yeah, I would have to try it out and see.
yeah,
The concept is really cool. Yeah, absolutely.
I do, and you don't need no needles. You can even buy some broken arm 1200s and still
Right.
mess around with it. We got DJ
Yeah.
Mr.
Yeah.
Anderson checking in.
What's up, Mr. Anderson?
So we got Chris
So
Gloss. He's saying,
go ahead. I'm sorry.
what's your number one go-to song to get the party popping?
Oh, well, I haven't DJed since COVID, so that was long ago. I don't even know. Um, if I were to DJ now, obviously it's going to depend on where we're at. What the
Yeah,
crowd is, because that's the thing. You always have to read the crowd. I mean, if I'm DJing in front of some people, all of a sudden it's all these people who clearly are not. Well, you have to read the crowd. So sometimes if you play like Cardi B or something, that's not going to work for certain people.
right.
I know back in the day, anytime I would start progressing and get to like Planet Rock or something like that. That would always, just because those records so well, and there's so much you can do with them. And then the Egyptian Lover also spins backwards, so that's another thing is I can spin the records backwards, and so Planet Rock you can do some really cool stuff with that. So
Okay,
um,
sweet.
yeah.
So
What
did
was
they
the
have local artists out there and local DJs that was just local to your area besides you spinning, at
Yeah, yeah.
least the hip hop R&B?
Yes, so there was actually two DJs I want to mention was Barry Love, Barry Thornton. He passed away just a few months ago. Really
Wow.
good guy, really good DJ. He was originally from Florida, and he wasn't like he had all the good music. He was like one of the coolest people, big guy, but one of the coolest people you would ever know. And one of the few DJs. A lot of DJs have egos, and he did not have that. You never had any issues with him at all because he just wasn't like that. So there was him, but there was also this guy named Skeet, Paul Bradley Jr. I call him Spokane's original mixtape king because although he wasn't like making master mixes like what I was doing, he
Yeah.
um, he's older than I am, and he was a really good musician too. He could play drums, keyboard, bass, guitar, horns. Oh my man, really good. And he had a great ear, um, just for good music. But he would sell mix. Everyone bought Skeet's mixtape. $10. You got the latest music at that time. Mixed well. It wasn't the master mix, but it was he played the song and then blended to another song. And sometimes he'd do a few little tricks and stuff. But hey, oh, Nasty Ness is here. He asked the GMS
Nasty
exact.
Ness, what's going on? I was
Oh,
telling
yeah,
GMS that I listened to y'all station, y'all Mixcloud mix for like maybe 3 weeks, and I like it. I like it.
yeah,
You got a nice mix of everything, and it's stuff that I'm usually not accustomed to hearing. So
right,
big
yeah.
up, bro.
Yeah, so Nasty, that's the legend right there. Yeah, and you can hear us every Sunday night on Rainier Avenue Radio, um, 9 p.m. Pacific to 11. You can go on to rainieravenueradio.world, or you can go on to if you have the TuneIn Radio app, select rainieravenueradio.world, or you can just download the Rainier Avenue Radio app. Um, and that's a legend right there. Yeah, I mean, anyone Google Nasty Ness, okay? And if it wasn't for him, I say Sir Mix-a-Lot would not have had the career that he did. And that's not to take anything away from Sir Mix-a-Lot, but Ness had he had the radio connections. Excellent person to have on your team. A lot of people think that when you're you're an artist, and you blow up. Oh, that's all you. No, 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 no. You have a team. There's a team of people that people don't even know about that are behind you
Right.
that are helping that success. So it's surprised some artists today now that's what they think. They think if they blow up, some of them are like, "Oh, we don't need a DJ. Why we don't some DJ playing our music?" And I'm like, "Oh my, wow, what is I don't even understand that." But
That's one of the
let me go
reasons
back.
why I'm doing this DJ interview
Mhm.
because of that. So Nasty Ness, we'll catch up. We need to get you on here because I know you
Yeah.
got stories.
Oh, he absolutely does. So, you asked though. Let me finish about Skeet. Um,
Yes.
I studied all of his tapes and everything. And I ended up working with him. He was like super cool also, and he ended up passing away in I believe it was 1999. He couldn't swim that well. He was actually out on the lake by where I live, and
Hmm.
his daughter fell overboard, and he dove in, saved her, and then I guess he hit his head and then drowned. So rest in peace to him.
Oh,
But that guy, a lot of people don't even know. I mean, he was just great, original mixtape king, but also a phenomenal musician himself. Super cool guy, Paul Skeet Bradley. Yeah. As far as rappers, there were always rappers here and there. Um, Back then, but
yeah,
there
yeah. Forget
wasn't.
them for now.
Yeah.
This
Okay.
is the
All right.
DJ interview.
Yeah. All right. Yeah. I'm wearing my gi and my Kid Sensation sweatshirt. I got my
Ah,
GMS hat. Yeah. Oh, my Mackie headphones, man. The MC50s. If anyone going to get some headphones, right here. These are it, man. These are so nice. Super
nice.
nice, man. I
Comfortable
love them.
over the ear.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Open back, professional open back headphones. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. All right.
Nice.
So,
So now,
um, okay.
let's talk about your producing career now,
Okay.
because you also produce now. I know you're on the radio station with Nasty Ness.
Yeah.
We'll touch on that too. But you were telling me you were producing too, and I actually heard one of your mixes.
Hmm. Yeah. So, well, I remix. I can make beats and stuff. I don't do a lot of the. I mean, what the original beat making I do, I can do it, and I do it for years. But I'm always so busy mixing and remixing. Um, but I just produced a remix for actually a couple remixes for Terry B, who for those who don't, if you remember Easy E, she was on his label, Comptown Records. That was actually the only release for Comptown from Easy E. But I just produced the Nasty Woman remix that she did on her new record. And then also the Truth Bomb remix. That's dedicated to Ruth Bader Ginsburg and John Lewis. And, RBG, her birthday was yesterday. So Terry B released that remix for yesterday in honor of her. And
Okay.
yeah, and then also I do have a song on Spotify, but it's more so for DJs. If you want to mix, called "All Things Must Come to a Blend." And if you listen to it as itself, it might not sound. I mean, it's interesting because there's a lot of different stuff that it switches, but it's designed if you want to something different for your mixing that that's catchy for the mix. It's actually a really good song. It's called "All Things Must Come to a Blend," and that's on all the streaming services.
That's a
But it's
dope
again,
name.
yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, but it's designed for all my fellow DJs out there. So if you need a copy, just hit me up on Facebook or Instagram, and I can get that to you.
Roger that.
Yeah. Oh,
So
sorry. Um, yeah. So me and Ness, we do remixes together also. So we did a remix for the High Children, which is a really good Seattle group. Actually, I think they're more. Um, one of the guys is in Minneapolis, but they were on Sway Show also. Um, but we did a remix for a song called "That Fire," and we got a new remix that we're working on. I don't know if we're supposed to talk about it. I don't know why not. The song that we're remixing is called "Jay." Yeah, what the hell? Yeah, we're remixing a song called "Jay," and so that's going to be out pretty soon. As soon as I finish it. And actually, yeah. So me and Ness are the ideas, and then okay, cool. The Tommy Lee. Yep.
yeah, connect. Make
Yeah.
sure you connect to him, bro.
Yeah,
And
definitely. Yeah,
and
so but I'm sorry, I cut you off. Go ahead.
no, go ahead.
Oh yeah, no. So yeah, you know, since I'm a turntablist, I can do all the scratching and all that stuff, but production, I can do that as well. Beats, whether it's the old school style, whether it's blended with new stuff or whatever, because I think if you love music, that helps you become a good DJ. And then also, if you're a good DJ where you can read the crowd, that helps you become a good producer.
Yeah,
Because some weird sound that's not going to work. Nobody's going to, that's not going to, you're not going to move a crowd with that or get anybody on a dance floor. It's not going to be interesting to listen to.
yeah.
But
That is the
yeah,
natural progression of a DJ is the term producer.
yeah, yeah.
So tell us about the radio station a little more now.
Okay, yeah. So Nastiness actually used to do. There was two shows. There was the K Fox Fresh Tracks, and that's where he would play, the hip hop music and all that, and local music, and that's when Sir Mix-a-Lot was first played on K Fox Fresh Tracks from Nasty Ness. But that show became so popular that they allowed him to take it to for 5 days a week because that show was on Sundays, and that allowed they let him go like Monday through Friday at nighttime, and it was called K Fox Night. Well, so when you interview Ness, you'll get the whole story about what happened there in K Fox and all that stuff. But Ness decided to bring back Nightbeat recently, and uh, and so when he decided that, I'm like, okay, you know what? I would like to be involved in that. And so first it was incrementally, and then eventually I started being more active on the show. So what we do is we bring back the memories through the music. and so we play
Right.
the classic songs from back in the day. A lot of people
Hmm.
have forgotten. We'll also do a fresh tracks portion where we play new stuff, new music.
Yeah.
That's paying homage to the original K Fox, and then I'll do a master mix as well. And sometimes we just had a Icy Ice DJ Icy Ice from the Beat Junkies as a guest DJ on there. He did a guest mix on there, super dope mix, super dope DJ. Um, yeah, and so that's every Sunday night. Like I said, it's 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 9 to 11. And then if you visit, Ness uploads the shows to his Rap Attack Lives website, so you can hear it on there. And then also eventually we Mixcloud as well, as you heard them
Yeah.
as
I wait
well.
till
And
Mixcloud because we
okay,
East Coast
right,
and
yeah,
your 9 o'clock is midnight here.
yeah, yeah. So I'm also I also do I was doing different things on different formats, but now what I'm doing is I'm doing a new show called Global Frequency, and that'll be on WRDR on Friday nights, and then it'll be at 8 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. Then it'll be broadcast on Easeway Radio on Mondays at 5, and then Pump It Up Magazine Radio out of Los Angeles will play that also 5 days a week at 7 o'clock. So that's where I mix new and some classic hip hop and R&B from around the world as well. So if any
Make sure
international artists out there, yeah, because music is the universal language. So there's a lot of good
yeah,
music in other parts of the world that a lot of us don't hear, here in America. And
yeah.
so I'm gonna touch on some of that and mix that in there as well.
I'm looking to get some DJs from out there too. I'm as far as Canada now. I got a
Okay.
Canada DJ coming on in a couple of weeks.
Oh, who's that?
Ah, don't,
That's okay. It's all right. I'm trying to think
don't
who.
get me. I was
All right. Yeah.
concentrating on this. One thing at a time.
Oh, it's okay.
But
Hey, I know how it is too. We start. There's so
he,
much stuff we got to remember, and
yeah.
what was that? Yeah, yeah.
So
Especially when you're busy and whatnot.
as we come to a wrap on this thing, there's a question I ask every DJ.
Okay.
More towards the end. This may be the final question, but what would you tell a DJ who's just getting into the business? What advice do you give that DJ? They have no connections. They just fresh. What do you tell
Mhm.
that DJ?
You want to be a very cool person. Be nice to people because, for one, you don't know what's going to happen. You don't know who's going to be where. If you have an ego and you're a jerk, people aren't going to want to work with you. So be nice. Be cool. And hopefully, you're doing it for the love of the music. If you love music, I mean, that is a huge help. And be open to all different types of music as well. Because if you're good, well, it depends on what kind of DJ. If you're going to mix and everything, be open to everything. Because there's so much good music in the world. If you limit yourself to just one style of music, it's kind of like food. If you only eat like lobster, um, yeah, lobster is great and everything, but if that's all you eat, you're going to be malnourished and you're going to miss out on all the great foods from around the world. So the thing applies to music. And then also, don't be afraid to ask questions. Uh, Reach out, find DJs, Instagram, Facebook. It's a lot easier to connect with people nowadays. Um, and practice also. Like if you're going to be a mixing DJ, practice, 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 practice your. I would say learn the old school style, but embrace technology. But it's good to know the old school. Learn how to blend, count your beats, learn your beats in it. Watch that Cameron Paul video. That's a really good video. But beats per minute, learn how to blend. If you're gonna scratch, don't over scratch because sometimes like at parties, people don't want to hear that. Some do, but if you are gonna do it, normally there's certain times to do it and whatnot. Breakdown or whatever. And just love music and just I think we should all try and make the world a little bit better through music. So, hopefully people will, as a DJ, hopefully that's what you're trying to do as well. And, you know, and work hard. Also, the harder you work, the luckier you will get. So,
Yeah,
and And also remember what one person can do, someone else can do. It might be easier, it might be harder, but you can still do it. So believe in yourself, and you only live once, so just go for it. If you want to DJ, do it.
Yep. Yes, bro. I am looking for some pioneer DJs because we on the East Coast want to know about the West Coast and the types of music they. From what I'm hearing, that I had a West Coast DJ last week. From what I'm hearing, you guys kind of adopted back in the day some of the East Coast music,
Yeah.
and I don't know if you guys had local rappers or anything that you actually blended with the East Coast music. That I don't know, but I will find out soon. But yes, BTP, definitely, I will
Yeah.
definitely hit you up. So one more question. Who do you think needs to be on here?
Well, aside from nastiness, um, DJ
we
nastiness,
we gonna sway
yeah,
him. We gonna sway him.
yeah. I'm gonna say DJ Prince Ice. Oh yeah, yeah. In fact, I see that on there. Yeah,
Yeah,
by the Pound Media, DJ Prince Ice. Um, how many names do you want?
just a few.
Okay, nastiness, Prince
One
Ice.
more. One more.
Okay, man. Who do I don't want to leave anybody out because I got a lot of good DJ
All
friends.
right, say them all. We
Okay, well, so man, you got Prince Ice, you got Alex Mejia, you got Glenn Ari. In the Seattle area, you also have like E Dog. He's got a lot of connections on DJs up there too. It's like CB4. You've got DJ Punish, who was Sir Mix-a-Lot's DJ. DJ B Mello, he's a DJ I know from back in the day. Um, Tobin Costin, although he's more of an artist now, he's actually got a new record out that he just put out. It's a good EDM sound. It's called Fantasy Love. I know he's going to get back into DJing as well, and that would be a good person because originally, even though he became Masterpiece manager and whatnot, he originally is a DJ, and I worked with him, and he learned a lot from Ness, me and Ness, and everything. So that would be another person as well. Um, Oh yeah, and I see Jeff has got. He's not a West Coast DJ though. He's got MC Shan. You know who MC Shan? Yeah,
Yeah.
you definitely know who MC Shan is. Yeah, we love MC Shan.
And, hey,
Yeah,
this
and
this
Dr.
show
Jeff.
for DJs, for
Huh?
DJs only.
DJs only, right? Yeah, DJ Icy Ice, absolutely. Icy Ice. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank now. Oh yeah, Easy D, Danny Dorman. Yep. Yeah, now I'm on the spot. I'll send you a list.
That's
If I
good
forgot
enough.
anybody, I'm sorry. If I forgot anyone, I am. Oh, Garen Moore. Yeah, if I forgot anyone, I'm sorry. Shout outs to everybody though too. Vic Sendez, that's another really good friend from way back in the day. All right, Ness is out. All right, Ness. Much love.
Yeah. Thanks,
Yeah,
bro. Thanks
and
for showing up.
Maximus. There was a guy named Maximus Clean who was out of Vancouver. Then he's in the Bay Area now. I don't think he's DJing, but he started Props Magazine. Really, he was a really good, really cool guy. Yeah, um, yeah. But there's actually a whole list of DJs all over the place. I got a friend,
Yeah.
DJ T. He's coming up. DJ T. He's originally from the Bay Area. He's up here in the Northwest now, and I think he's going to be doing some good stuff. He just loves the music too. Loves mixing. Um, yeah, the Native American's number one DJ, I think, is what his thing is.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah,
that's interesting.
yeah. Oh
Because
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
I'm I'm looking for other DJs too, not just
Hmm.
the ones that play hip hop and everything. Because I don't know the Canadian DJ that I'm bringing on. He plays that beats and drums
Drum and bass.
music.
Yeah.
Drum and bass, yeah.
Okay. Yeah,
See,
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
even know what the real name of it, but
yeah,
I found him like interesting
yeah.
that
Oh yeah,
he even plays that music because I listened to his show a couple of times. He's on Fridays.
yeah.
Canada is the same time as East Coast, so
Right.
he's on
Yep.
Fridays at 3 p.m. and he
Okay.
plays that music, and I listen to it, and it's strange, but you start like kind of nod
Yeah,
your head
yeah.
to it.
Well, it's definitely the rhythm patterns is definitely different. So you can sometimes mix some of that music with hip hop, but it's tricky, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah. But see, that's interesting. The evolution of music. Yeah, the evolution of music. Mixmaster Ice. Hey, but
Y'all
he's
know
East
him?
Coast. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Jeff knows him. Yep.
Okay.
Oh, that's
Let's hook it
another
up.
influence. Yeah, definitely. There's another guy named Victor Menego who is really good. Yeah, he's a really good DJ. A real creative. Yeah, I'm drawing a blank now for some reason. You know, all my friends are now
You,
they're all
you,
gonna be like so mad at
you
me.
set it up. Why you ain't mention my name?
Man, I'm sorry.
Hey,
Everybody, man.
we'll
Yeah,
get them all on eventually.
yeah.
But thank you so
Um,
much, bro, for taking the time. I know it's still early there. It's 9 o'clock here, so it's about 6 o'clock there.
yeah. Hey,
And
thank you. I really appreciate being on the show. Yeah, that was it's really cool. I
yeah,
had a great time. Great talking to you. Make sure you tell GrandMixer DST about. Oh yeah, you did. Yeah, about the name. Yep.
yeah, I told him.
Okay.
Hey, he'll probably hear this because I'll cut this snippet out
Yes.
of it. Well,
Hey, that was the thing.
actually, say
Go
the
ahead.
story of how you
Okay.
got your name so he can hear
Oh,
this.
okay. Yeah, absolutely. Well, first I got to give props to him and all he's done for music because when he performed with Herbie Hancock on MTV, we didn't have DJs like that here that I saw, not in Spokane. So I was there watching the whole thing, studying everything he did. And so, oh man, incredible. But so my name, that's the thing. I was sitting there thinking, okay, when I decided to be a DJ, I'm like, okay, well, I need a name. You remember back then you had Grandmaster Flash, David DMX, Grandmixer DST, DXT, you know. And I'm
Yeah,
like, okay, so Grandmaster is cool, but that because I'm into martial arts and stuff, that doesn't seem appropriate because I associate that with like the old school kung fu master, that type of thing. And I was a teenager, you know. So, okay, so no, but I like Grand Mixer, and it was really Grand Mixer DXT that really was an influence on that because he was just incredible.
yeah,
And I'm like, okay, I like Grand Mixer, and then I like, okay, well, what do I have? Initials, okay. And I was like, so I started going through all the initials, and GMS, when I started saying that, that had a ring to it. And I'm like, Grand Mixer GMS. I'm like, you know what? Yeah, okay, I like that. I like that. And then, so the other part of the story, I think I told you about this, when people asked me, well, what does GMS mean? And I was like, I had never thought about it. I just came up with initials that had a ring to it. And I was like, oh well, hey, it's on the tape. You know, just buy the tape, you'll hear it. And I'm sorry, I was not truthful about that. And they're like, oh, okay, cool. So they bought it, and then I saw them later. They're like, hey, I didn't hear anything about what GMS stood for. And I was like, oh, well, you know the backwards part. Remember, you know, because I do all these tricks and stuff. And they're like, yeah. I was like, it was in there. And back then, not everybody could just flip something backwards. Now you get on a computer and you just splice
yeah,
it and turn it backwards. Back then, you had to cut tape and all that stuff. People weren't doing that, and they're like, "How the hell am I supposed to know that?" So I apologize about that. Yeah, but that's what the name of Grand Mixer GXT was a big part of that as well. Super dope DJ, and much respect to him.
Well, again, thank you so much. You know,
Hey, thank you for having me on here. I really appreciate it, and shouts out to the person who made my hat, Dion Avolio. I got to give my plugs here. Bam. Hey, she's good, man. She is good. Mackie, because that's how we met. I was on the Mackie thing. Kid Sensation was
yeah,
on there, and I got the Kid Sensation. Boom.
and I
He's another
connected to
legend.
you.
Super cool. Yeah, and in fact,
Connected
I'm in
to
the
you.
Kid
I
Sensation
reached out.
video. The song "Feeling Myself." Um, yeah, it's like Mackie headphones, the nasty emoji mask, and I got another super cool emoji mask. The By the Pound Media. Check that out. Boom. Yeah. Super nice. And
I
then,
think you froze up.
boom. Yep.
Show it
Boom.
again.
Okay. All right. Let's see.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Ah.
that's nice.
I
Yep. Boom. And then, and I got a buddy. He does soap, man. This is like the best soap. He's a friend. He raps too. He's a buddy of mine from back in the day. And I don't know if you can see that. Beauchamp and Chase.
yeah. Jeez,
COVID.
yeah,
Hey, this is some excellent soap, and especially with COVID now, I take that stuff seriously. That's why I'm wearing the
yeah.
mask. Rest in peace to everyone who's passed away. But a local guy, rapper, and he's got his own soap. It's really good too, though. But hey, I really appreciate being on here. Thank you so much. And
Thank you.
and
Yes.
I talked about this earlier. Tobin Costin, remember? He was the guy I was DJing with, who was
Yeah.
Masterpiece manager. If you're in California, he came up with this hard cider. It's called Psycho Cider, Xaiko, and it's really good. They won bronze. They're Kiwi Herman. You gotta love that, especially if you're a DJ. Kiwi Herman, Kiwi
Pee-wee
Herman.
Herman. Oh,
Yeah,
man.
Kiwi Herman. It won bronze at their national. I guess they have a national cider competition. I didn't even know that they had that. It makes sense, but so with a name like Kiwi Herman and it won bronze, you know it's good. So if you're in California, man, show him some love. That's some good stuff. And
Definitely.
just
Me and
hey,
the international DJ Tommy Lee, we coming back out there.
yes,
Yeah.
definitely. So hey, thank you
Tommy
so much for having me
said,
on here. I
send the
appreciate it.
DJ interview some. That mean a case.
Yeah, right. Yeah, Tommy Lee. I'm definitely gonna hook up with him. Hey, he's got a cool name too. He's got
Yeah.
that cool name. Yeah.
You gotta do it with the hands. The international DJ Tommy Lee. Yeah, put some
International
emphasis on
DJ
the
Tommy
hands.
Lee. Yep. International DJ. Yeah.
But
Bam.
thank you, GrandMixer GMS, for
Yeah, you
showing
are
up and
welcome.
showing the DJ interview some love.
Yeah.
And everybody that made comments, thank you so much for making the DJ interview viable for us DJs.
Yeah.
The
Hey, yeah. I want to say thank you to you just for what you're doing because the DJ, the DJ is actually so important. The DJs are often overlooked. It's not just because I'm a DJ. You know, a lot of DJs, you do it for the love of music and just trying to, rock a party, make people happy. And so the fact that you're reaching into that, to try and bring out that with the DJs, I really appreciate it. Now, so a lot of people who think DJs don't matter, Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, we had them on our Rap Attack conference list call. Nastiness hooked that up. Some of the super cool, most positive people that I've talked to, and their view on DJs are critical because even though Jimmy Jam and Terry Lewis, and if you don't know who they are, I don't know what to say, but
yeah, something wrong with you if you
Janet
don't know who they
Janet
are.
Jackson, Mariah Carey, oh man,
Uh,
but they were like, yes, they make the song, they conceive it, but if it wasn't for, then they give it out to DJ. It's up to the DJ to play the song, help it grow. So without them, it's like they
push it.
never even made the song. So if the DJ
Yeah.
doesn't play it, nobody hears it. And so those are super producers, Jimmy Jam and Chillis. I think they're right on the money on that. And so what you're doing, I think that correlates with that as well by helping to keep the DJ culture alive, and so people know of it. I really appreciate it. I will always support you. So thank you so much.
Roger that. Thank you much, bro. And we will talk soon. I'm
Definitely.
gonna put you in the green room.
All right.
All right, y'all. Another episode of the DJ interview. And we had our West Coast guest, GrandMixer GMS. So we will be back 8 o'clock Tuesday, 8 o'clock ish on Tuesdays in the PM. And I want to thank you guys. We'll see you next week.